So now that you made your prediction, let's see if your prediction is correct. Okay. So if we were to introduce this population of bacteria to an antibiotic, okay, we are going to see over time that the bacteria that is lower in resistance is going to start to die off and disappear. Okay, this is because they are not strong enough to withstand this antibiotic. And we have learned with natural selection that organisms, even bacteria, must compete with one another for survival. So in this instance, the organisms that are more resistant to the antibiotics are going to be able to survive and reproduce. So if we go to our next slide, we're going to see what this population now looks like after this first form of natural selection has happened. So the initial population of bacteria has decreased. Okay, this is because the weaker ones have died, the stronger ones have survived. That small population of strong bacteria that can withstand the antibiotics are going to continue to thrive. They're going to continue to reproduce, and you're going to end up with a final population that is more resistant. Okay. So now you have this problem of there's all this bacteria that is in your body, and the bad bacteria has changed, has adapted. Again, not each individual bacteria. As you saw, if it had a low resistance level, it died. The yellow dots did not turn red, they went away. Okay. So, our main point of natural selection that we have been working with, let me get my laser pointer again. Okay, so our main point here, individuals with traits that help them survive reproduce more successfully. And that's what you're seeing here. These red bacteria are better suited, better adapted to resist the antibiotics because they have this trait that is helping them survive. They're able to reproduce and pass this trait on to their offspring. So these successful individuals pass their helpful traits down to their offspring. Okay, this could potentially lead over time as more adaptations are occurring in this population or within this species. It could end up that you end up with a different species altogether. This bottom point of natural selection, okay, is a separate piece that we're really not going to get into in its entirety. You're going to get this information more in high school, but I did want to address this, that it does happen. You do get different species. We're just not going to go in depth into that because that will be done in your biology course next year. So, what we're going to do is we're going to do this last piece. And I'm going to go ahead and again, you'll have to bear with me for moving my video around. It's just, I don't want to block anything. So we have one short activity embedded in the Nearpod. And after this activity, you'll go to the very last slide and I'll give you your assignment for today. Okay. So I want to know how much you're understanding. How much do you get with this? So on the next slide, you're going to see the same image, and it has basically combined, okay, combined the um, images that we've done on the last screen. And I did not make this image. And I'm actually not thrilled uh, with this arrow here. So I want for you to feel free to just ignore this arrow, okay, in your Nearpod. This resistance level is something entirely separate, okay? So you're focusing on 1, 2, 3, okay? And with what you've learned in today's lesson through the videos, through our discussion, through the diagrams, I want to know, how does natural selection shape future generations of bacteria to resist antibiotics? So this first here, so this would be generation number 1. I'm going to just do G1. Okay, generation number 1, that's that initial population of bacteria. They get exposed to antibiotics. The ones that are strong survive, the ones that are weak die. You're left with the strong population. They reproduce, and you end up with generation number 2. Okay, so I want to know, how is this natural selection process shaping these future generations? Okay, so go ahead, head to the next slide. Answer this question to the best of your ability. Do not Google it and copy and paste it, because I will know. It does tell me. I don't want to know what Google knows about this or what other articles. Based on what you took away from the lesson today, I want to know how you understand natural selection shaping future generations.